The Pharmacy Act 1948, Functions or Working of Pharmacy Council of India, PCI. Education Regulation. Section 10. The Central Council, with the approval of the central government, make education regulations, prescribing the minimum standard of education required for qualification as a pharmacist. The education regulations may prescribe a. The nature and period of study and of practical training to be undertaken. b. The equipment and facilities to be provided for students undergoing approved courses of study. c. The subjects of examination and the standards to be attained. d. Any other conditions of admission to examinations. Copies of the draft of the education regulation and of all subsequent amendments shall be furnished by the Central Council to all state governments, and the Central Council shall, before submitting the education regulation or any amendment to the central government for approval under subsection 1, take into consideration the comments of any state government received within 3 months from the furnishing of the copies of education regulation. The education regulations shall be published in the Official Gazette and in such other manner directed by the Central Council. The Executive Committee shall from time to time report to the Central Council on the efficacy of the education regulations and may recommend suitable amendments to the Central Council. Application of education regulations to states. Section 11. At any time after the constitution of the State Council and after consultation with the State Council, the state government may, by notification in the Official Gazette, declare that the education regulations shall take effect in the state. Where no such declaration has been made, the education regulations shall take effect in the state on the expiry of 3 years from the date of the constitution of the State Council. Approved courses of study and examinations. Section 12. Any authority in a state which conducts a course of study for pharmacists or holds an examination in pharmacy may apply to the Central Council for approval, and the Central Council, if satisfied, after such inquiry, that the said course of study for pharmacists or examination in pharmacy is in conformity with the education regulations, shall give approval. Withdrawal of approval. Section 13. Where the Executive Committee reports to the Central Council that an approved course of study or an approved examination does not continue to be in conformity with the education regulations, the Central Council shall give notice to the concerned authority to take into consideration the question of withdrawing of approval, and the said authority shall within 3 months from the receipt of such notice, forward representation in this matter to the Central Council through the state government. After considering any representation received from the authority concerned and any observations made by the state government, the Council may declare that the course of study or the examination shall be deemed to be approved only when requirements are met before a specified date. Qualifications granted outside the territories. The Central Council, if it is satisfied that any qualification in pharmacy granted by an authority outside the territories affords a sufficient guarantee of the requisite skill and knowledge, may declare such qualification to be an approved qualification for the purpose of qualifying for registration under this Act. Mode of declarations. Section 15. All declarations under Section 12, Section 13 or Section 14 shall be made by resolution passed at a meeting of the Central Council and shall have effect as soon as they are published in the Official Gazette. The Central Register. Section 15A. The Central Council shall maintain a register of pharmacists in the prescribed manner to be known as the Central Register, which shall contain the names of all persons for the time being entered in the register for a state. Each state council shall supply 5 copies of the register for the state to the Central Council as soon as after the first day of April of each year, and the registrar of each state council shall inform the Central Council about all additions and other amendments made in the state register time to time without any delay. It shall be the duty of the registrar of the Central Council to keep the Central Register in accordance with the orders made by the Central Council, and from time to time, to revise the Central Register and publish it in the Gazette of India. The Central Register shall be deemed to be public document within the meaning of the Indian Evidence Act, 1872, Act No. 1 of 1872, and may be proved by publication of Register in the Gazette of India. Registration in the Central Register. Section 15b. The Registrar of the Central Council shall, on receipt of the report of registration of a person in the register for a state, enter his name in the Central Register. Inspection. Section 16. The Executive Committee may appoint inspectors. An inspector may a. Inspect any institution which provides an approved course of study. b. Attend any approved examination. c. Inspect any institution whose authorities have applied for the approval of its course of study or examination and attend any examination of such institution. An inspector attending any examination shall not interfere with the conduct of the examination, but he shall report to Executive Committee on the adequacy of every examination he attends and any other matter required by the Executive Committee. The Executive Committee shall forward a copy of every such report to the concerned institution, and shall also forward a copy together with any comments made by institution, to the central government and to the state government in which the institution is situated. Information to be furnished. Section 17. The Central Council shall furnish copies of its minutes and copies of the minutes of the Executive Committee and an annual report of its activities to the central government. The central government may publish any report if found necessary. Accounts and audit. Section 17A. The Central Council shall maintain proper accounts and other relevant records and prepare an annual statement of accounts, in accordance with the directions specified by the central government in consultation with the Comptroller and Auditor General of India. The accounts of the Central Council shall be audited annually by the Comptroller and Auditor General of India or any authorized person, and any expenditure incurred in auditing shall be payable by the Central Council to the Comptroller and Auditor General of India. The Comptroller and Auditor General of India and any authorized person shall have the same rights and privileges and authority as the Comptroller and Auditor General of India has in connection with the audit of government accounts, and, in particular, shall have the right to demand the production of books of accounts, connected vouchers and other documents and papers. The accounts of the Central Council as certified by the Comptroller and Auditor General of India or any authorized person together with the audit report shall be forwarded annually to the Central Council, which shall forward the same with its comments to the central government. Power to make regulations. Section 18. The Central Council, with the approval of the central government, make regulations consistent with this Act. Such regulations may provide for a. The management of the property of the Central Council. b. The manner in which elections shall be conducted. cdh. The summoning and holding of meetings of the Central Council, Executive Committee, and other committees. The times and places at which such meetings shall be held, and the conduct of business thereat and the number of members necessary to constitute a quorum. e. The powers and duties of the President and Vice President. f. The qualifications, the term of office and the powers and duties of the Registrar, Secretary, Inspectors and other officers and servants of the Central Council, including the amount and nature of the security to be provided. g. The manner in which the Central Register shall be maintained and given publicity.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos.